Right, I've just thought up another theme for an idea for discussion. Just because something seems impossible to the human mind, does that automatically make it impossible? And one of my previous discussions has asked was on time travel. Does anyone think time travel will ever be invented? Well, probably most people will say no. How could it? It's impossible. That's if you watch the Doctor Who adventure, An Unearthly Child. This 15-year-old girl who's the granddaughter of the Doctor is going to this school, even though he's warned her not to go to an Earth school, because they'll crack on to how different she is from everybody else. He knows, you see, because he's older and wiser. But she's still gone to the school anyway, and her teachers can't understand why she's so different from everybody else. That's why it's called An Unearthly Child, and they think she's very mysterious, and they follow her to the address where she lives, and they find her it's a junkyard. And they follow her into the junkyard, and you find this old man with a police box, and you think, what's an old man doing in a police box in a junkyard? And they keep asking him where Susan is, and he's he's sort of bluffing them and trying to give them the impression that she isn't there. Well, they hear her voice coming out of this police box, and she looks, and they went into it, and they're actually amazed because it seems to be bigger on the inside than what it is on the outside, and it's just. They can't understand, but they're trying to explain to him that they're not humans, they're time travellers from a different planet. But even though he's found it absolutely amazing that the TARDIS is bigger on the inside than what it is on the outside, they still don't believe it's real. They think it's some sort of delusion. Well, it is some sort of illusion in a way, really. Because when you see things on television, you're not seeing it the actual size that it is in real life. Because how could it fit in your living room if it was the same size as what it is in real life? If you see sort of when you're seeing something on telly, you're seeing something miniaturized, aren't you? And he doesn't believe that time travel is possible at all. He says time just goes in a steady flow. You can't get off, and you can't get off. You can't just go forwards or backwards in time to wherever you want to go. It just happens, then it's finished. That's the way he sees it. Well, you know what I mean? I suppose that's what most people say. They say time travel will never be achieved. It's impossible. And that's the same way that atheists believe about God. Reason about God. They say a God can't exist. I mean, I said I know what I mean again. I've got to stop saying that, haven't I? They say, how could somebody exist who's always existed and always been there and never been created by anybody else? It's impossible. That's what Richard Dawkins believes. If you start to theorise that the universe was created by someone, you're only bringing up the even bigger question of who created them, because They couldn't have always existed. They must have been created by somebody else. Well, according to that line of reasoning, we can't exist. Because if we're not being created by anybody else, how can we be here? I mean, it's the whole argument defeats itself, doesn't it? I know he says we've evolved, but the thing is that God isn't a physical being, and he didn't need to be created. A God. There would never be any need for a God to be created by anyone. I know that's impossible for the human mind to fully comprehend. But just because something's difficult for the human mind to comprehend, does it automatically make it impossible? Everything that's... we can't understand everything. You can't expect a fish to understand what it's like on dry land, can you? People like him, they say humans created God themselves. They made up the idea. It was just a made up. The whole thing was just a made up story because we didn't understand about human evolution at that time. And in the film Creation, so someone's congratulating this Charles Darwin on killing God. He says, "You've killed God, sir." But by saying that humans can just evolve on the earth without the need to be created by anyone, they've made religion outdated. Well, if that was the case, all the churches would have been closed down years ago, but they're still there. Masses of people still believe in God. Evolution, the theory of evolution hasn't destroyed belief in God at all, because people still go to church because they like it, because they like going to church. But is it just a matter of you believe what you want to believe at the end of the day? And I suppose really these atheists, they say that humans want to believe that there's something, that there's more of a future for them than what there really is. They like to believe that there's some existence after death, when in reality there just isn't. It's just the same as what it was before you were born. It's no different. But I know that the concept of a God is difficult for the human mind to comprehend. But just because something's difficult to comprehend, does that automatically make it impossible? Does it? You can say there's no God, but can you prove that there's no God? Anyway, don't forget to put a comment in the comments below. Telling me what you think of this, because this is meant to be a discussion, like all my other YouTube clip. Well, no. I like more answers on than what I'm getting. Anyway, that's why I put that little Teddy video on here. It was meant to be a joke, you see, because no one comments on most of my YouTube clips. So I thought that it's meant to be a joke, that perhaps if I put the Teddy on here instead, maybe they'd have a discussion with him. Well, they won't have a discussion with me very often. Anyway, I'll be back with more discussion soon.